Okay, so here we are going to discuss on the man in the fossil record, and here we are going to learn Homo habilis. Okay, so Homo habilis is otherwise referred as handyman, uh, and it was collected. The remains were collected from mainly from South Africa. You can see Tanzania, Kenya, Ethiopia, and South Africa. So all these along the coastal areas, eastern regions of the South Africa, the Africa. Okay, I'm sorry. And it can see that the Homo habilis, the fossil remains of this were recovered by Dr. Leakey in 1967. Initially in 1964 from the rocks of East Africa. And this group lived about 1.5 or 1.6 to 2.4 million years ago, and they had an erect upright posture, erect gait, and relatively larger brains, and were tool users. You can see here several skulls and sections of crania, fragments of hand, limb bones, and partial skeleton were available. They were the first member of the genus Homo that appears in the fossil record and is associated with the earliest stone tool technology. The species is characterized by a moderately large brain, moderately sized molars and premolars compared to the earlier hominins. Uh, it was, as already mentioned, in the early 1960s, fossil fragments were excavated at Oluwai Gorge, Tanzania, and from the deposit slightly older than those in which the zinc had been found in 1959. They included a partial cranium, so all these parts like mandible, hand bones, and near complete left foot were obtained, and the first three were grouped uh, by Louis Leakey. Dr. Leakey studied uh, the first collected specimens. Okay, and here you can see the jaws and teeth. The lower face of Homo habilis is more slender than that of Australopithecus or Paranthropus, that is earlier fossils. The molars and premolars are narrow and reduced in overall size, which would suggest a diet requiring less chewing or perhaps better quality foods eaten in similar quantities. Uh, it is believed that uh, they they use the obviously they had been using the tools. That is what earlier we have seen, isn't it? Like stone to technology, isn't it? So these people they fabricated crude tools out of pebbles. You can see here. They also collected. You can see. So they had also the these kinds of small stones made into tools, where they were Homo habilis used these tools made up of pebbles to gather variety of plant material like nuts, seeds, fruits, tubers, and roots, and small animals like lizards and rodents. So the incisors and especially the canines are relatively large, and the whole front tooth row is expanded. Um, Although the palate is short, the region of bone holding the roots of the teeth is long and well separated from the nasal opening. So the body of the lower jaw or the mandible is less deep than in Australopithecines, with the receding chin and the base of the mandible rounded. Okay, so you can see here relatively large incisors and canines to a small compare as but it is small as compared to the Australopithecus. Okay, then incisors, sorry, what you call molars and premolars, they're smaller than in the earlier species, and fairly thin coating of enamel found in the Homo habilis. And teeth are arranged in a like more rounded arc, like those of the modern humans. That is almost like a parabola. Okay, and physical features include, you can see, um, relatively small in stature, more lightly built than most of the Australopithecus, but which had a larger brain and a body capable of bipedal locomotion. The arms were longer and perhaps stronger than those of modern humans. so the forearms were longer. So in the earlier species which we discussed, Australopithecus, also we found that arms were longer than the hind limbs. Okay. However, there is enough variation in these traits across specimens to generate controversy. And here you can see height varied from 3.3 to 4.5, and that is feet. Okay. Then weight almost like 32 kilograms, and brain size 700 centimeter cube, as against like around 1,000. So it is progressing. In the what you call Australopithecus, we found it is almost 600, and here it came up to it is a more elaborate skull size can be found in the Homo habilis. Okay. Then coming to the cranium, as we have already mentioned, the cranium was larger, isn't it? Rounded, lightly built, with an estimated cranial capacity of 700 centimeter cube. The frontal region is expanded compared to the Australopithecus, and some specimens have marked neck muscle attachment areas at the back of the skull. Then here you can see expanded brain case compared to Australopithecus. Then pronounced brow ridges. Okay, this is referred as brow ridges. A small skull that is although quite similar to the Australopithecines ancestors in other respects. Homo habilis face looked more human because of its shorter jaw and smaller chewing muscles. So lower face projected forward, but less prominent as compared with the Australopithecines. Okay. Then, so as we have already mentioned, they used pebbles. They fabricated these pebbles to form small tools that can be used to collect the food. Okay, you can see here for gripping over here, and then here also it is gripping surface, and sharp-ended that can be used as choppers. Okay, so all these are actually smaller stones or pebbles used for collecting the food. So this is actually a reconstruction of the from the skeletal remains that was obtained of Homo habilis. Okay, so this is with regard to the Homo habilis. Fine, this could have been how they would have looked. Okay, now next one is Homo erectus. Homo erectus is what otherwise referred as Pithecanthropines, and it is in the middle of Pleistocene. Australopithecines succeeded by large-brained forms, and they were commonly known as Pithecanthropines. Homo erectus, the term comes from upright walking man. Okay, erect man, that is upright walking man, and this group lived almost like let's see, we don't have, okay, almost like 1 million years before, and they had a gait or walking style even more like the modern humans, and larger brains than the Homo habilis, as we have seen. Homo erectus used tools of bone and stone and used fire. And fossil remains of Homo erectus were discovered at Java in 1894 by Eugene Dubois. And they have been called Java man, and had a cranial capacity of 775 to here you can see 750 to almost 1,300 cubic centimeter. Another type of fossils of Homo erectus called peking fossils, peking man, okay, were discovered by Davidson Black in 1920s. And peking man had the cranial capacity of 900 to 120 centimeter cube. So Peking man as well as Java man both are like examples of or fossils of Homo erectus. Okay, I hope it is clear, right? They are considered to be the first true man, having many human characters like erect posture, slightly larger body, about 5 feet tall than Australopithecus, comparatively larger cranial capacity ranging from 900 to 1,350 centimeter cube, bipedal locomotion. And they were hunters, even cannibalistic, lived in caves, used fire and manufactured weapons. However, as in the Australopithecines, their teeth were large and The face were pronatus, protruded slightly forward, and chinless. Their skulls were flattened and had heavy eyebrow ridges. Okay. So here you can see it was the first hominin species to be identified outside Europe with a type specimen from Java. That is why it was known as Java man. It is known from many sites across Asia, and there is considerable disagreement as to whether European or African fossils should be assigned to the species. Here, the Asian fossils are presented as a co-record over here. The first Homo erectus fossil, initially which was known as Australopithecus erectus, was found by Eugene Dubois from the islands of Java in 1891, and making the species one of the earliest ancient hominins to be discovered. In 1920s, Davidson Black identified some teeth discovered at the Chinese cave site as Sinanthropus pekinensis. Okay, that is why Peking man. Okay, that use came up. Okay, and all these details about the discovery. Okay, from where it was obtained. Physical features you can see. We have like large bodied with fully modern bipedalism, relatively larger brain. Face and cranial vault were distinctive with a strong brow region and wide cheekbones. And morphological variations in the species may be accountable to differences between the sexes. Okay, it is almost 5 feet. You can see it is in this case Homo habilis. It was like 3 feet to 4.5. So in the case of Homo erectus, actually the height has increased, almost that of the modern humans. Then you can see the brain size again, it is almost similar to that of the modern human, 750 to 1300 cubic centimeter. Now the face, again, what all changes you can see, the dome shape of the brain case, it is gone, eyebrow ridge, okay, the pronatus nature and the chin. So these are the few features which you have to be careful about. So the hominin species, the Homo erectus face, they had a large and wide, quite vertical face. So vertical face in the sense it is like this. Okay, pronatus it will be in this way. Fine. So this is almost like vertical face with a raised nose. Obviously, the nasal bridge is slightly raised, but lightly built jaws and modestly sized teeth. Compared to the modern humans, the face was dominated by the prominent brow and low forehead. Um, Many partial skulls and teeth had been discovered, and they reveal the morphology. And you can see that it is characterized by a large but long and low cranial vault with a strongly angled occipital bone to the rear and a sagittal keel running down the midline. Uh, the face has strong forward-facing cheekbones and a massive brow ridge that is straight and bar-like in some specimens. Okay, while in others it arches over the eye sockets. So this is a brow ridge. Okay, Peking man. That is what this few species which was collected from Chinese area. Okay, so once considered as a separate species, Homo pekinensis, it is later it was later included under what you call the Homo erectus. Okay, these are the few characters of the skull, the fossil record that is obtained. You can see the thick keel of the bone runs along the midline. Okay, that is a unique feature. Wider cheekbones. Obviously, the cheekbones were not wide in the previous what you call fossils recorded. Receding chin. Okay, these were a few characters. Here you can see the eye, the skull narrows behind the eye sockets. This is actually the brow ridge. Okay, and the teeth larger than in modern humans here. That is actually a slight difference from the modern humans. Um, yeah, so this is about the Homo erectus. The next one we had along the way, it is the Neanderthal man. Okay, actually in the late Pleistocene, Homo erectus was succeeded by early Homo sapiens. So we saw that Dryopithecus, it was more of an ape. Then came up Australopithecus, and whatever fossil records were obtained during that particular period were all named as Australopithecus. But later, it was found that Australopithecus, the genera, it included more of ape and man character, like ape man, while the Homo genera, it included more of human-like fossils. Okay, so then we had the Homo habilis and Homo erectus. Okay, Neanderthal man, Cro-Magnon, and the Homo sapiens will be discussed in the next presentation.